Hi everyone, my name is Kundai and this is...
I'm Krishi.
And welcome back to ÉCU Interns Chronicles. So today we're going to be talking about Bollywood and my little experience with Bollywood and her very exquisite experience with Bollywood and what we like about Bollywood, what we don't like, and everything to do with Bollywood and all things Bollywood that we can think of, and everything that we love, everything that we dislike. So where shall we start?
First start, Kundai. What movies did you watch, since I'm the experienced one, so...
Okay, I have to say my favorite film out of all Bollywood that I've seen is Three Idiots. It has to be up there. But you don't like it.
The most famous one, actually.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's famous for a reason.
Yeah,
it's famous for a reason.
But it's actually a good one.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why it's my favorite. Because, like, the reason why I like it, it's not that it's a good movie in general, but, like, it just, like, for me, a movie to be good, it needs to take me through the motions. Like, I need to feel, if it's a comedy, I need to laugh. If it's a action, I need to be attentive and whatever. So, like, I think it takes me through all the emotions. It has sadness, it has funny moments, it has a song that I love.
Yeah, it's kind of like a whole, like, roller coaster.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Many emotions. Even the story behind it's, like, super interesting.
Yeah.
Especially for young students and all, because it's kind of, since they have, like, too much pressure on them, so it's kind of like a really interesting movie that many people should watch, actually, and learn from it.
Today I was though, but I've watched it 3 times, but
I did also watch it 4 times.
So what would you say is, like, your top Bollywood film?
Well, first I'm gonna talk about Bollywood cinema in general, because it actually started way back, and it started with the first film that made like 2 billion profit is
like
Sholay.
Dollars or like
dollars. In dollars, yeah. Sholay is it's a movie about a detective that calls for like 2 not major criminals, but like little criminals who are like thief and who are like kind of smart and all, because he wants to avenge a family that has been murdered. Like,
so he's the detective who is avenging his family.
Yeah, because his parents were like killed, and so
shit.
he kinds of so that's why he calls like experienced criminals, if I may say.
So he calls criminals to work on his side.
Yeah, it's work on his side, like as a shadow, as a secret. And it's actually a really long movie.
How long is it?
I think it's 3-4 hours.
Okay, sorry. But what's up with Bollywood and having like these long ass movies?
They actually love to make like long movies. Like, I think the shortest one they could make is like 2 hours. Or maybe there would be like some of 1 hour and a half, but the majority of the films would be like more than 2 hours. They love to make because they play on a lot with special effects, with all the dialogues also. And I'm coming back to that. And they also add a lot of songs. Like, the songs in India, they mostly come from Bollywood cinema, because they kind of like to add songs in a bit of.
I mean, that's obvious. Like, there's always like at least like 4 or 5 breaks of where there's some
always,
song.
And the songs also, it's never like 2-minute songs. It's always like full 4 or 5 minute songs. So that's why the movies are like super long.
I mean, that's only like what 20? I guess like 20 minutes of just song in a one movie, which is a lot. But the movie that you're talking about, the detective, gone.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's it. So that's the movie that was actually the most famous one at the beginning. And many movies came after. I actually have a lot of favorite movies that I like, but I mostly like the old ones, the ones made in the, in the 90s and at the beginning of 2000. They were super long also, like 3 hours. I just watched, like 2 days ago, I watched a movie of 3 hours. It's also a very famous one. Many people know, but they don't know the name, but they know the story. It's called Devdas. It's because it includes people say that it includes the actress is actually one of the most beautiful woman. She's considered as one of the most beautiful women in the country. And the actor, so the main lead, is also...
So what's the name of the most beautiful woman?
It's Aishwarya Rai.
Oh, I think I've heard of her.
Yeah, I think she was like Miss World one time, I think. And the main actor is also Shah Rukh Khan, a very famous actor. He made a really good reputation image for himself. Like, I would say all the Indian moms love Shah Rukh Khan. He's like the lover of India, like the whole country.
And like I think like when it comes to the international scene, like the most famous Indian Bollywood film, probably like Slumdog Millionaire, was also one that like a lot of people know, because it's just like, I think it's like it's a film that talks about things that are kind of like relatable to everybody, you know. Like he has this girl that he's chasing after, and he also wants to make a little bit of money, and he's trying to win by chance, and I don't know, it's kind of like rags to riches, but on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, you know. And it's kind of like a fun little story to follow. And yeah, I think that's kind of the unique point of Bollywood films. Like, you are following somebody's story, and you start off at a certain point. Like, that's all movies, but I think Bollywood has a certain way of doing it that is unique to Bollywood, where I think there's the human aspect is kept. Unlike, I think, Hollywood, Hollywood has a certain genre that deals with it, and they're not exactly popular. But I think Bollywood has managed to, in its own way, popularize the human aspect of every of like every film that is there. At least the ones that I've been witness to.
They kind of maintain the same sort of representation of Indian people, Indian culture throughout the years, and that's actually their biggest strength that helped them to maintain the global influence in all sense, because they do main movies are more about about the poverty stuff, about the Indian cultures. They also kept the traditions and all, but there are also some little flaws that we can talk about after, but overall they maintain the traditions, with all the culture, the dresses, the ceremonies and all. It's quite popular.
Yeah, I mean, like, speaking of the representation thing that you're talking about, and I guess transitioning to the flaws, I don't know how much you know about it, but probably the whole about how, like, the darker skinned Indian people in cinema are kind of sort of sidelines compared to the lighter ones. They are not the light skinned ones are given more preferential roles. They get the better roles, the ones that are more reputable. Even in the most famous of movies, you always get, like, it's always a light skinned Indian actor. So what do you think of that, and what causes it?
Well, the difference first is that Bollywood is only cinema from Mumbai.
Okay.
And the cinema you're talking about from the South people, it's like another cinema.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called Tollywood, and that's the speciality actually of Indian cinema, is that they're like different industries depending on the region. So Bollywood is the most famous one. It was actually the first one in India. Okay. So that's why it's based in Mumbai. And the one you're talking about, skin color people, it's mostly the South, but they kind of started to, mixing actors and all. They kind of started to bring actors from the South to Mumbai.
The Tollywood.
Tollywood, and they did many movies on that. Some actresses also from Bollywood had worked in Tollywood. For example, there's a movie called like RRR, like 3 R's, and it's a movie about the Independence Day and all of that. And
from the British, that is.
Yeah, like the two actors, they're from Tollywood and the actress is from Bollywood. So they kind of work together to bring something, and it's something really common because with the British eras, obviously every Indian can relate to it. I mean, they kind of messed up the whole country. they leave us some good stuff, but mostly they messed up. So
right.
yeah, I mean, all those things wouldn't have happened, but yeah. So they started to do this kind of mixing cultures and all, but at the same time, it's true that the major part of Bollywood cinema is only with light-skinned actors and all. And I don't know why they do this type of difference. It's actually because of a few directors. So yeah, there are some kind of directors that make discrimination between actresses and all because they expect a certain appearance from them. So which is why many actresses had some surgeries. They got light skin, where in the beginning they were light skin. So
yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah, it's kind of like surprising when most of the Indians were not light skin. I mean, you can pretty much see. So when we don't see that same representation, it kind of
light skin to me.
Yeah, it's really, it's really shocking and unexpected. I mean, we're not in Hollywood. We're in Bollywood, so you're supposed to keep that appearance. So yeah, which is why there's one actress who moved to Hollywood, Priyanka Chopra.
Love her. Quantico, amazing.
She's my favorite.
So would you say then, like, are there a series or movies that like encompass or break barriers in the way that they represent Indian culture in any way that are not necessarily, conservative in their manner,
There was one recently that was shot like 2 years ago, I think. It's Rocky and Rani Ki Prem Kahani. It's like love story between a woman named Rani and a man named Rocky. So they were not from the same background. Rocky is pretty much rich. He's really wealthy. His father has a huge business and all. But he doesn't speak English, whereas Rani, she's more of a modern type of girl. She speaks English. She's actually a journalist on TV. She interviews people and all. And her family is wealthy, but not that much wealthy. But still, they're comfortable, Her father is actually a classical dancer. So throughout the movie, he was kind of humiliated because he was a man, and a man can be a dancer. That's the stuff that they present. So, which shows also how much better they broke. Rani at the beginning, she only wanted like physical relation with Rocky. Rocky was kind of like not getting it. He was like really falling in love with her, but the families didn't accept. Mostly about Rocky's family because they considered her as a lower caste, inferior to them. So yeah, but she stood her ground. She defended her family.
But how do you think the so-called lower case, her caste are? How do they feel about that? Like being called they're from a lower or inferior caste. Like how do they deal with that?
It's insulting and it's humiliating because just because you have more money, that doesn't mean that we're from lower caste. Because you can clearly see in this movie that Rocky's family was wealthy, but their values, their reputation, it was not the same as what society expected. They were very conservative, and their daughter actually didn't got any right to work and all. So women in their household were pretty much restrained. They had no right to talk. They had no freedom. Whereas in Rani's family, the women were more free to do whatever they want. They had more freedom of expression and all. So it shows, even if you don't have money, but the money doesn't make the balance,
Yeah.
It's mostly the values, the moral codes that you have that makes the difference.
I guess that's true. And in Paris, that is, or in France, Paris mostly, but are there places that you can go to watch Indian cinema, Indian movies, films, that's your go-to, that you would say that's the place to go to watch a good Bollywood film?
There is. I mean, the most place that all Indians go to Paris, it's actually outside of Paris. It's called Cinéma Gaumont in Seine-Saint-Denis, just besides the Stade de France. So you should guys go watch it. You will see like every Indian go there whenever there's like, it's the first option. It's actually the cinema, I think, so far that shows most Bollywood movies. So yeah.
And like, how often do you go though? Like every month, every week?
No, not every month, not every week. I only go when I find the movie, the resume interesting, because right now the cinema, it's not that much as we expected. The stories are like the same, they make sequels and all, so yeah, pretty much it. I mean, there's not much that unique touch as before, you know?
Oh, okay.
There's nothing new there anymore, so it doesn't kind of interest us that much.
I mean, that's kind of the same thing that's happening in Hollywood, isn't it? Like with there's like this weird thing whereby everything is a sequel, everything is following another thing. So there's maybe a sort of writer's block in all of film industries where people are no longer thinking of new ideas. It's just we had this idea, let's remake it and stuff like that. But in terms of like series, what would you say is a good Bollywood series to watch?
There has been a recent one of a very famous director that we love. The director is called Sanjay Leela Bhansali. He's really famous for the way he portrays women. Okay. So yeah, he's like my favorite, honestly. He really knows how to show a strong, bold woman. He knows how to show everyone the value of a woman. And it's actually his first series, actually. He made many movies about it, but this was actually his first series. It's called Hiramandi. It takes us back to the colonial era again, with women that didn't got any freedom of expression and all that, but they still stood their grounds, and they even went to revolution with the men at the end to show that they also have the power, the strength to fight for their independence. So because in that case it was about the country's independence and about their own independence. Right. So they kind of like many values to fight for. And it shows actually, it's very aesthetically beautiful, it's very authentic. They portray women really, it's really beautiful to watch actually. All the clothes, they kept the clothes, traditional dresses and all, you know, so the main focus is on the 5 women's life. So they kind of work their way through society, because originally they're artists who play performances, they dance during the evenings and all, but at that time, you know, men considered that as vulgar and all that. Yeah. And they kind of gave money, diamonds, gold and all, and they slept with them, so that's why they were considered as prostitutes, which is actually not true. But honestly, at that time, they were like obligated to do that because, you know, at that time they didn't have any way of survival, and also they just went through it. So they just originally they're artists, but they were kind of forced to be prostitutes.
Colonial era, right? But so like, how has, in your eyes, Bollywood fared with post-independence and post-colonial times? You know, we're talking about light-skinned versions. You know, how much does that influence the way in which Bollywood functions? You know, because although colonialism has ended, how there's always some sort of Western influence, right?
Yeah, I think it's because of that they kind of accept more light-skinned actors, because of the influence they're getting like inspired by Hollywood also, and since they want to show themselves like on a global stage, so they just want to work and match the cinema codes, rules and all. So I think that's why they prefer more light-skinned, but I feel that it's not actually that interesting to watch, and it's kind of like disappointing for us Indians, because we see light-skinned people representing us, which is actually false. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing to see white influence, such a super strong white influence, man.
So yeah, that's quite interesting. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this week's Intern Chronicles. See you later. Ciao.